Hello and welcome to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how to audit board minutes and other external information. It's been noted that a lot of students, when writing the ACCA examination, they don't really know the purpose of the board minutes. For instance, if we look at one of the examiner's reports in a question from ACCA, the question required the candidates to describe the substantive procedures that the auditor should perform. But the examiner's comment shows that a lot of students will just go ahead and say, many candidates stated review board minutes, okay, without specifying what is to be done. So this is like an easy way out for many students by just saying I'll review the board minutes. But a lot of students don't know what the auditors actually do with the board minutes. So this video is to provide you with an understanding of what we, the auditors, do with the board minutes. So let's start by looking at the definition of board minutes. So the board minutes are usually prepared by the company during their board meetings, and these board meetings can occur monthly, quarterly, or based on the discretion of the board of directors. Okay, so during these meetings, the minutes of the meeting will be taken, and that is how we get the board minutes. So what is the purpose of reviewing the board minutes? Why do we as the auditor need to obtain the board minutes? The purpose is to help us determine any potential risk. Okay, it could be pervasive or inherent risk. So by reviewing the board minutes, we'll also have an understanding of the entity. For instance, maybe the company purchased a new building during the year. We can find this in the board minutes, and this will help us to plan our audit procedures accordingly. So what are some of the common formats for board minutes? Sometimes we get the board minutes in Word format or in PDF. Okay, so your client can give you either in the Word format or in PDF. Any of this format is fine for the purpose. So what are some questions that we the auditors need to inquire from the client when we are obtaining the board minutes? So you need to ask the client if the company prepared minutes for all the meetings. So imagine, assuming the company had 4 board meetings during the year, and they only prepared board minutes for 3 of these meetings. Okay, in that case there was a no board minute was prepared for one of the meetings. Because of that, we need to include this in the management letter. The management letter will be sent to the board of directors at the end of the audit. So in that letter, we are going to mention the weakness we identified, that board meeting was held, but no board minutes was taken during the meeting. So that will be added to the management letter as a weakness in the internal control system. Also, we need to check if there were any significant transactions during the year. So assuming during your discussions with the client, just asking the client things about the company, and then the client mentioned to you that they obtained a very huge loan during the year. And while you were reviewing the board minutes, you did not see this information in the board minute. We need to also include this in the management letter as a weakness, because there was a significant event or significant transaction during the year, but this was not included in the board minutes. Okay, so this is also a weakness. You need to remember to include this in the management letter. So these are some questions you need to inquire from your client. So what details do we need from the board minutes? Okay, as you can see in the exam where some students were saying I'll review the board minutes. So when you say review the board minutes, what are you looking for? What are the information or the details that are needed in the board minutes? So the first thing, you need to look at the date. What is the date of that meeting? What date did the meeting occur? You need to extract the date, like you need to note it down. Also, you need to check if the board minutes was approved and signed. Again, if this was not approved and signed, this is also a weakness in the system, and we need to include this in the management letter stating that we noted that the board minutes were not signed and they were not approved. So we need to also include that in the management letter as a weakness. Okay, and also you need to check for relevant information. Remember, when you obtain the board minutes, there are going to be a lot of information in that board minute. It's not every information there that we need for the audit purpose. You need to read through it and extract the relevant information. Okay, so let's look at some example of relevant information. When you are reading through the board minutes, what are some information that when you see them, you know that, okay, this information are relevant to the audit? For example, if you are reading through the board minutes and you see that there's a new business plan or a change in business operation, for instance, if the company you're auditing is into the manufacturing of batteries, and while you are reading the board minutes, you noted that they introduced a new line of business. This is important for audit purpose, so you need to extract this information and note it down. If you see any evidence of going concern, maybe while you are reading through the board minutes, you see that the company is having issues with paying their suppliers, or they are not meeting their debt covenants, this is an evidence of going concern. We need this for the purpose of the audit. If you see any information relating to litigation, maybe they sued the company, these are important information. Also, new contract. It is possible that the company entered into many new contracts or new agreements. You need to extract this information, okay? And if they see any instance of fraud or allegation, maybe during the year there was fraud that occurred in the company, this is important for our audit. And also changes in governance. A lot of time while we are reading through the board minutes, we always see situation where a member of the board of director resigned, or there was a new CFO or a new CEO. We also need to extract this information and note it in our working paper. And also, if you come across any related party transaction, this is also important because related party transactions are supposed to be disclosed in the financial statement. So this information is important for our audit purpose. So once you're done extracting this relevant information, what do we do? So we need to reference to our working paper. You need to do reference. I'm going to show you how we do the reference, okay? And then we need to obtain supporting documents. You're not just reviewing it for reviewing purpose. Once you're done reviewing and extracting information, you need to obtain the supporting document. For instance, if they had a new loan during the year, while reading the board minutes, if you noted that they had a new loan, you need to go back to the client and ask for the supporting document. Can I see the loan agreement? Can I see the proof of money entering into the company? You need to obtain the supporting document, okay? So let's see an example. So in this situation, I don't have an actual board minute. I cannot show you an actual board minute, but I'm going to show you an example of what we call external information, which is similar to the board minute. So this is just a random company, and I searched on the internet. This is a Canadian company, and once I searched for the company, I went to the news section. You can see. So once you go, so assuming we are auditing this client, as an auditor, I need to go to the company's website, and then if they have a website, and I go to the news section, and assuming we are auditing this client for the year 2023, it's going to bring out all the news for 2023. Okay, there are a lot of news here. You need to go through each and every one, but for this purpose, I'm just going to look at the news on April 12, 2023. And you can see they announced closing of 9.25 million Canadian dollars of private placement. This has to do with equity financing, okay? So they had an equity financing. This information is very important for the audit. So as an auditor, what do? I said the first thing you need to do, you need to take the date. So this was April 12, 2023. Let's go to our working paper. So assuming this is my working paper, I'm going to put the date. So here I'm extracting the board minute or the external information. For this purpose, I'm working on the external information. So April 12, 2023, that is the date. So I'm going to extract the information from the minutes, okay? So when I come here, if I click on this, it's going to bring me to the minute right here. So this is detailed information. Can you see? So you need to read through it. You don't need all of this information. Like I told you before, you only need to extract the relevant information. As you can see, related parties. This will be important because related party information needs to be disclosed. So let's see, the offering was oversubscribed and a total of 40 million common shares of the company. So this information is relevant. So I'm going to just copy it and take it to my working paper, okay? So I'm going to copy and paste it in my working paper right here. This is just for Your working paper can be in any format, okay, but this is just for teaching purpose. So I'm going to put the information right here. Okay, so here I have the information. And was the board minutes approved or signed? You know, in this case, I'm looking at external information, not board minutes. But in your case, if you're looking at a board minute, you need to check if it was approved and signed, okay? If yes, you're just going to put yes. And if no, you need to put no, and then go and update your management letter to include the weakness in the system that the board minute was not signed or approved. Then here you need to put your reference. What do we mean by reference? Once we obtain this information, we are going to audit this information, okay? They raised finance, so we need to obtain supporting documents from the client, okay? So this reference, I'm going to reference this to where I'm going to be performing the actual audit of the equity raise. So assuming the working paper is 20.2, so that means as an auditor, if you go to working paper 20.2, you are going to find where I audited this information. I'm going to obtain subscription agreement from the client. I'm going to obtain bank statement from the client, anything to support this transaction. So once you go to working paper 20.2, you're going to see where I actually audited this information, okay? And you're going to go down and keep putting, extracting any other relevant information, okay? So you're going to go back, you go to the next date, you check if there's any relevant information, you go to your working paper, you put the date, you extract the information, and then you check if it was approved or signed. So I believe going forward, students will stop giving this kind of brief response in an exam, like I'll review the board minutes. You need to be detailed. When you review the board minutes, what are you looking for? I'll review the board minute to check if it was approved for the new loan, or if the board of directors consented to the new building. You need to be detailed with what you are looking for and how you are going to audit that information. So I hope this video helps you today. This is how we perform an audit of the board minutes and external information. Thank you for watching the video today. If you have any question, you can put in the comment section. I'm going to see you in my next video, and bye.